I want you to imagine for a few moments that you had to craft a marketing message that will be relevant to someone from a very different cultural background. Of course, the first step would be you'd need to understand what the world looks like from that person's cultural perspective. You'd need to gain an appreciation for language and customs and the sort of social norms particular to that cultural perspective. And yet, while we're pretty much all aware of the challenges of communicating across the culture gap, very few of us are really aware that a very similar challenge exists as you look to connect across the generation gap. And right now, we have a generation of consumers coming through, both Generation Y and Generation Z, who are very different in their worldview. They are buying different things in different ways and for different reasons than older generations. And the vast bulk of my clients are in a position where they realize all of a sudden that their brand messaging, their products, their services are all geared toward the older generation. And unless they shift and become relevant to that younger cohort, they're going to quickly find themselves on the endangered species list. And in this presentation, Decoding Tomorrow's Consumers, what I look to do is draw together some of the data from 3.5 years of my research interviewing over 80,000 young people to get a sense of what is making this group tick. And one of the key messages in this session is that this young cohort is a group that you cannot afford to ignore. A couple of reasons for that. I mean, Generation Y alone are only marginally smaller than the baby boomers, but they also are a cashed up group. In Generation Y, according to retail industry research, possess 50 cents in the dollar of discretionary spending. And so they're a huge opportunity, but the challenge is how do you connect with them in a meaningful way? Now, I've worked with a number of significant brands over the last few years, helping them do just that. Brands like Pepsi, Vodafone, Nokia, Bankwest, GIO Insurance. And what I look to do in this session is draw a lot of that experience together to help audience members understand how to connect with this group. To look at things like the importance of narrative, storytelling, testimonials. To place a high value on being authentic and self-deprecating if you're going to connect with this group. But also some the simple tips and tricks, like if you're going to get through to this group, communicate through them, not to them. It's a subtle distinction, but a significant one. Because the reality is, if you're not connecting with this emerging generation of consumers, your competitors